Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another class build in Modern Warfare. And as you can see from the name underneath, we got ourselves the next reimagining version of One Man Army. So if you guys remember back in old Modern Warfare 2, there was a whole perk called One Man Army. Technically, it all it allowed you to do was change your entire loadout on the fly. And what it did is just pretty much give you an infinite amount of uh, rounds, or you can actually just like copy the exact same loadout you already have. And what people use it for is like noob tubes, which is the underbarrel grenade launcher, to constantly just raining grenades over and over and over again. So now we kind of have a weird setup of One Man Army coming back around, but it's going to be a little bit more complex than how you would imagine it. And it's going to be utilizing the newly buffed underbarrel SPW 40mm and all the other reskinned versions like the Hellscream 40mm, all these underbarrel launchers on all the assault rifles. There's different versions of them, but they all act exactly the same, so don't worry about any kind of differences in performance. But what they did was, all they simply did was make it to where your movement speed is no longer penalized. Only your aim down sight speed will be hurt a little bit, and you get a little bit more recoil stabilization, so you have a little bit more recoil control for these things that actually do act as grips, especially the underbarrel grenade launcher. So it helps out your gun a little bit. It doesn't really, like, there's really hardly any kind of downside to it. It's actually probably should be more preferred over most of these attachments now, since you do have a lethal underbarrel grip. They also made it to where that simply now you can have a total of 3 rounds per actual grenade launcher. And what's cool is that every single grenade, they're shooting 40mm rounds most of the time. If you have like a 5.56 shooting rounds like the M4, and then you go to the TAC 56, so that one also shoots 5.56, 5.54, or 45mm. They would both share the same ammo pool, so you can kind of double down and increase your total ammo pool for one type of weapon if you really wanted to. Of course, that'll take overkill, and you have to use that unless you're using like a handgun towards an SMG to kind of compile that. But for the grenade launchers, they don't have a compiled ammo pool, so you can technically have 3 shells for one grenade launcher and 3 shells for another. So that is total of 6 that you're able to have. I combined a few other things on here just to make it to where it's extra toxic for all y'all. So let's go ahead and break it down, and I'll show you guys how this is in the game. So obviously, straightforward. M4, you want to have the underbarrel grenade launcher, or any other kind of guns you're wanting to use here. I just picked the first 2 I'm able to have, but I speed it up or tune it for full projectile velocity. It won't make a massive difference. You won't really see a big boost in there, but that is one thing to point out. And you also just put in sprint speed, so you're able to run a little bit faster. The underbarrel here, same thing, projectile velocity. Want to maybe dial it back a little bit, I guess, if you really want to. And then sprint speed, you want to put down a little bit more on. So you guys can find the sweet point if you want to, but I just dial it in all the way for max. And you can have that on there, but that's really all you need for the assault rifle. You can deck it out anywhere, like any other way you want to for the rest attachments. I'm just going to go over this for a general template for you guys. Tactical grenade, or the tactical, you want yourself a decoy grenade. So you get 2 of these by default instead of the standard 1, and you're able to keep tossing them out, and they'll give you points passively. More points you can rack up, the faster you get towards your field upgrade, which I'll be going over in a little bit. So just generally awesome score you're able to get, and it'll also count towards your kill streak. So obviously, a decoy grenade is really not a bad option to have at all. And we're going to go a little bit further. Actually, I want to change this here to extra tactical. But you're going to have that, and then lethal, you're going to go with a frag grenade, because we're already shooting out frag grenades from a grenade launcher. We might as well go ahead and toss them in hand thrown as well. And just to make it to where it's a little bit extra explosive for all y'all. And that will be really solid. But tactical grenade combined with 2 different attachment, or 2 different perks in this whole perk setup, and this will allow you to get your field upgrade very, very quickly, and you can keep on tossing explosives as well. And you want to go over towards extra tactical. So all that will do is give you a third decoy grenade by default, so you're able to throw out 3 at a time. You're also wanting to go with overkill. Obviously that's a given, so you can have 2 assault rifles at a time for the grenade launcher. And you'll also have resupply for the bonus perk. That'll make it to where that you can get your tacticals and your lethals back. You also get yourself an additional lethal, so you can throw out 2 grenades at a time instead of just the 1. What's cool about the decoy grenades, though, they can actually recharge faster than all the other tactical equipment outside of the stem shot, since it doesn't really apply an actual direct, like blinding or stunning, any kind of like direct visibility kind of line of sight. So it'll just generally just keeps recharging faster. So instead of taking 25 seconds, it'll take around 10 seconds, which is amazing when you can have up to 3 of them and you just keep tossing them out. It'll rack up score like no tomorrow for your actual field upgrade. And finally, your last perk, which you're going to be in your ultimate, and this will be overclock. He'll just give you a second charge, so you can have 2 ammunition boxes, which I'll be going over, and it'll also recharge by another 40%, going up faster with all the score you're racking. So you'll get this very consistently. And finally, for the field upgrades, munitions box, we want to run that. And you can also run the DDoS if you really want to, or tactical insertion, either one that you really want to run. I do tactical insertion, so you can find yourself like a little bit of a spot to set yourself up on, and then go from there. Just kind of have like a system set up for you to keep spawning in one area, and then bombard people with actual grenades. So overall, this will allow you to where you're able to get a munitions box really quickly while keep tossing out decoy grenades. Frag grenades will also rack up a ton of points. And let's go ahead and jump into it. And I won't be able to show it off too well in a private match on its full capability, but you guys can try this if you really want to. It is going to be the one-man army class setup. Now obviously the normal frag grenades, they will take up to 25 seconds to recharge for each one of them. So that is one thing to point out. So you won't be able to toss them out as quickly, because obviously they're lethals. None of them actually recharge faster by default, so that is one thing to point out. If we go down here, you'll see this. So you can run fast hands if you really want to. I don't really recommend doing that because getting the decoy grenades and stuff like that faster, you'll be able to use them a lot more often. You can also put on score streaks instead of kill streaks. I don't have those equipped, but you can run 3 of those if you really want to. You can eventually get yourself kills over and over again. Oh, that's a flashbang. Yeah, so you get 2 of them by default now for one of your assault rifles. So I'll fire out 1, fire out another one, and you can swap over to your other assault rifle with another 2. If I don't die to them. So really cool. You can also instantly kill them. If you land direct hits with these things, you'll be able to ignore bomb squad altogether, or the bomb squad perk. Be able to outright kill them no matter what. So you do have a guaranteed shot if you can land a direct hit on them. Splash damage, that's lethal. You won't be able to actually kill them, but you will at least soften them up. Vehicles will also be terrified of you. Okay, apparently I did something wrong here. For some reason the bots aren't really abiding by what I actually tell them to for the actual setup. I want to send them over to recruit so they won't, beam me instantly like that. That's kind of weird. But pretty much, yeah, so that's all you're going to be using. You can use it on any kind of vehicle if you want to. You can try to use the same setup in, let's say, Warzone. If you really wanted to, I think it's actually somewhat viable in Warzone. You could swap to, like, fire out one gun instead of reloading it. You could just swap to your other assault rifle and use it if you really wanted to. And fire off will make it to where that, yeah, why in the world is recruit not actually set the recruit? They're absolutely killing me there. But yeah, so you're able to use that if you really wanted to. Be able to blow up any kind of vehicles, and in Warzone, you're able to light anyone up, especially in like DMZ if you really wanted to. People get onto the helicopter, just blast in a bunch of rounds, and you'll be able to light them up and kill them in any kind of gunfight right off the rip. So they may have messed up a little bit here when it comes to doing this, but this is the kind of class setup that I really recommend running for people that just are looking for sheer fun in the game. Instead of taking it too seriously, it is a video game after all. So I have this build that I'm showing off to you guys now in Season 2 Reloaded, and hopefully they don't really change any kind of aspect of this whole entire class setup. But if you guys want to find my other kind of cool builds, there is one other one that is the drone unit, I wanted to call it. And it pretty much has the ability to send out a bunch of recon drones strapped with proximity mines and stuff like that to be able to light people up. I have an entire video for that class build set up way later on. I'll go ahead and make a playlist for all these as well, since there is enough of them now to actually do that. And you pretty much just mess around and have fun. You can get 2 kills like that, swap over to another one. Again, you can use any other attachments that you want to on any of your assault rifles. This is just showing off a demonstration of it. They all have the exact same reload time too, so again, even though they're different models of guns there, you don't really need to worry about it. Now the, the Field Upgrade Pro, that will slow down your recharge rate or initial recharge rate by quite a bit because it's loading up 2 of them at once. So that's one thing to point out. Now wait for it. So after you get the munitions box, you're able to have up to 6 of these things at a time. And you'll be able to drop them in. So technically you turn yourself into a one-man army now. So you have 3 of them on this one and 3 of them on the other. You see the actual decoy grenades will load up faster as well. Now the decoy grenades won't give me score in private match for some reason, but it will work for you. This is also really solid when it comes to double kills. So if you guys are looking for double kills for assault rifles, this is an amazing build for it. So you can actually get 2 of them done at the same time, which is not too bad. They just pretty much made it to where getting double kills is not hard at all with these. Insanely effective on objective modes because you just keep on whaling in more and more rounds every single time. But again, in actual larger real multiplayer matches or online multiplayer matches, this will work out way better when it comes to that. You can also toss out other grenades, so you can cook those if you really want to and then kind of set them up to anywhere you really want to. But you're pretty much a walking madman with explosives constantly recharging on them. You're a demolition squad, a one-man army at that point.
Whoa, way too close.
Yeah, so there you guys go. That's pretty much the whole one-man army noob tube. It doesn't really work out exactly how it did in old Modern Warfare. You're able to drop that stuff in if you really wanted to. And there you go. See, now you can have up to 2 of these things. So you can fire out 1, 2, recharge, 1, 2. And another one, recharge, 1, 2. So you just keep going with them if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to get your teammate involved on this as well. So every single build is really good when it comes to teammates. You can get them to run the exact same build. And technically you have yourself an entire demolition team of just absolute bombarders. Teamwork makes the dream work. Shipment matches, everything on shipment would be freaking terrifying. So if you want to be toxic, they now gave you another tool to do so. So have fun with that. So let me know what you guys think about this entire class setup now. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.